What's up, guys? It's Dominique, aka That Therapist. The infamous shirt. Actually, this is the old design of the infamous shirt. But anyway, for those of you that don't know me, I am the lead clinician and CEO for a group private practice known as Yellow Bird Counseling. Well, what is that? What are y'all practicing? What are y'all a practice for? Well, our normal day-to-day activities consist of providing mental health counseling and therapy to individuals, couples, families, groups, adolescents, children, teenagers, young adults, and seniors. So the whole lifespan, mental health therapies for the entire lifespan, pretty much. And we have therapists that specialize in each different area and with different age groups and with different presenting concerns that people may come to therapy for. All right. So that's what we do. We do that in the states of Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Jersey, and Idaho, and soon to come, at least half the United States. In about the year of next year or so, we'll be able to service people throughout the United States. So stay tuned for that. Don't wait on that though. If you need help now, please get your help now. Don't wait on it. But if you need us in the future and you live in California or Colorado or New York or Tennessee, then we got you. We'll have you then. All right. So that's what we do. And what else? So on Thursday evenings, we present live topics to the general population that helps us all understand how we could benefit from having a therapist and not just having a mental illness. Because one of the biggest myths is something has to be wrong, quote unquote, with you in order for you to see a therapist, when that's simply just not true. It's not true at all, actually. And so people see therapists for a slew of different reasons outside of mental health concerns. Okay, so that is what we provide awareness on. So with that being said, of course, when there are major awareness months, which although awareness is major, but awareness months that we hold near and dear, of course, Pride Month, because not only are we Black owned, but we're LGBTQIA plus owned. And I'm sorry, y'all, I'm trying to get my phone to stay up for Instagram. Golly, I don't know. I need one of them things. So that's what we do. So with this month being Pride Month, we definitely wanted to be sure that we provided awareness on the issues that surround LGBTQIA plus from a mental health perspective, just providing awareness. We talked about people that were experiencing homophobias and transphobia and like why and where that may come from and things they may want to consider, and that they may need to seek a therapist for those things so that they are able to overcome their unrealistic fears of the LGBTQ community. And so this week, people that have already taken that journey and who have already align themselves with the community but may not be a part of the community is what we want to focus on this week. And it was good because somebody did ask last week. I've never even heard of an ally. They never even heard of a LGBTQIA plus ally, like literally just never heard of it. So I'm like, oh, well, that's great because this week that's what we're going to be doing. But of course, I couldn't do it by myself for too long. So I have help. And I have help from one of the Yellow Bird ambassadors that's been around for a long, long, long time. And y'all know this Yellow Bird therapist because she's been on with us a lot of times. So without further ado, I'm bringing her on again. If I can find her face. There you go.
Hello.
Hey, Bridget.
Hello. I just realized I look like I'm like in an interrogation room. Like I'm like sneaking in. It's not.
That's why you got to get your ring light for when you do live.
No, I I have a ring light, but I don't know how to use it because I'm old.
Gwen know how.
She probably does. She probably does.
Gwen does.
She probably does.
Doyle probably does, actually.
Oh gosh. So,
How you doing, Bridget?
I'm good. I'm good.
I gotta bring this closer. I'm sorry. I'm fiddling with this phone because I'm super cheap and I don't have the tools to make stuff stand up like it's supposed to seamlessly. So I'm like makeshifting. All right, cool. I can't move though because I'll knock it over. All right.
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe. It'll turn over.
Bernie, don't step on that. You know, the dogs.
Mm.
So cool. So, all right. Well, tell us when you were like, hey, let's do this. Tell me kind of what you were thinking initially.
Well, I love Yellowbird because we are very diverse, but also I'm not a very diverse person. With that said, I am a cisgendered woman. I'm going to talk about what cisgender is.
Yay! See there?
Like, I I'm a white woman. I'm just pretty basic. And so I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about how you can be a support in the LGBTQ community and how you can respond to it without necessarily feeling like you are that, like without feeling like, well, I'm not part of the community. So can I still be actively supportive and responsive and loving for it? And absolutely. So that is why I wanted to come on and talk about it. So,
yeah. Well, first, tell us some reasons that people may not find themselves aligning with the community.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. And actually, this could be like a whole nother hour session. Is like the first one everybody is going to talk about is religion. It's going to be like Western religion. And, and going back to I'm a very basic white woman. I'm a Christian. And I still very much believe in LGBTQ rights. Like I don't necessarily believe all of the things that, what Western religion is going to teach us about it. So there's that. And then I think the other thing is that I think sometimes people are scared to like, well, if I speak out for it, does that make it look like I'm in the community? So, and I think people are quiet because of that sometimes as well. And then just like you said, I think people don't know, and they've lived this beautiful little bubble and the bubble's been good to them, but then they realize that it was all a lie anyways. Like, the bubble isn't even true. Just people are just masking for you. But anyways, and they're just ignorant, and good, bad, ugly. They just don't know. So
yeah. So you said, and most of those are pretty straightforward, but one, people might ask, especially in the community, we may ask why someone not in the community, a heterosexual person, is scared to be like, why do you think they're afraid? And of course, there's obvious reasons, because of course, being in the LGBTQ community is very marginalized, which does come with its own set of judgments. But why do you think some people are okay with those judgments while others aren't? Both straight and gay.
Well, I mean, I honestly think when we're thinking about marginalized communities, our world is so messy, which we know that, but like we want to make things so, like we want to stand for things. And on a whole nother level, media tells us that if you're watching a specific type of media, Fox News, whatever, and they're basically telling us that these people are threats to the American life or whatever. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot of just like, it's very similar with racism, how it's so ingrained in our culture that we cannot separate from it without intentionally doing the work. And I feel like transphobia, homophobia is the same way, even if it very similar to, I have a Black friend, so I'm not racist. I have a gay friend, so I'm not, I'm not, what's the word?
Homophobic.
Thank you. I was like,
Yeah.
what's the word? Homophobic.
Or I know a trans, They don't mean I know a trans
right.
person, and so
My
I'm not.
hairstylist is trans, so
No, and just no. But people say that, and like
justify that in their brain that way, right? Like that's part of that conversation. So.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because more specifically in the African American community, it's like we are not at all, like as a whole, accepting of the LGBTQ community, but we know what it's like to be oppressed, and we know what it's like to be marginalized and ostracized, but it don't apply. The rules don't apply for gay, because God said no gay. So because God said no gay, it ain't like being racist. But I'm glad you, as a cis hetero white woman, said yes, it's similar. It is very much the same. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you can't choose
about the people who
you can't choose to be gay any more than you could choose to be black. And I know people are gonna be like, yes, you can. No, you can't. Because who would choose it? Who would choose to be gay? And you get ostracized, and we gotta talk about what allyship is. And so many people walk around with this ignorance. Why would you want to have to be explaining and all? Who wants to just do that? It's a lot of energy. Nobody. So yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know if I was thinking, anyways, about the choice, like, well, what I think people, not to give people a pass, but I think a lot of times people realize you can choose to come out, and so they think they're making the choice to be one or the other. But no, the choice is whether or not I'm going to be open enough to show you whether or not you're safe enough to do it or not. So, yeah,
y'all 9 people that's up in here, can each of y'all share this live, please, because this is very important, near and dear to us, and we want to bring awareness so that the LGBTQ community can have more peace. One, hopefully, if just one person is open to being the ally who maybe wasn't one before, then that's helpful. It's very helpful. So yeah, please share this live and on our Pride Month, and you've done your part to be start your journey. It's just the very, very beginning of your journey to be an ally and recognize Pride Month by sharing this awareness. So please and thank you. Okay, go ahead, Bridget.
What should we talk about? Let's talk about terms, really, because
let's start with terms. I did some terms with them last week, but we can do some more terms this week.
Did you do cisgender? Okay. Let's start. Well, let's start with the ally. Like, okay,
somebody did ask that. They were like, I didn't even know about an ally. They said that last week.
So an ally is a person who doesn't necessarily, they're not in the community, but they align with the values and the importance of standing up for the oppressed people. But also, one of the things when I was Googling, and I won't lie, I was totally Googling, but I was using
Google is super free and everybody should use it.
Yeah. Well, I was using the Human Rights Campaign, which I was going to talk about later, as a resource. If you want to know more, they're really, really good at resources. But one of the things that they actually defined an ally is like, also not just, oh, I'm cisgender, but I'm going to be an ally, but also maybe I'm trans, or, maybe I'm trans, but I'm not gay, but I can still be an ally. Or maybe I'm gay, but not trans, but I can still be an ally. And it was like, an ally doesn't necessarily just mean like you're a white, a white cisgender. It isn't white, just my words, like you're
white or black cisgender.
Yeah, you're just a cisgender human. It just means also like I recognize that maybe I'm gay and I'm not transgendered, but I recognize transgender people should have rights as well. So when we say ally, we can say ally to mean multiple things, and it can be both in and out of the community. So yes.
Yep, sure can. Cause you definitely, and I was like, ooh, I didn't even know if I was gonna bring it up. Because I know how people, so because they lump us all together. So I went through who everybody was in the LGBTQ community, but I didn't go through what you just said. Like you can be gay and not be trans and be an ally for trans people, and or you could be trans and not be gay and be and I didn't want to confuse people, but you can. And then even within that, people are like, well, if you're trans, aren't you gay? No, you're not. You're not. Most of the, in fact, I won't even say most. I do have trans gay clients, and then I have trans straight clients. It just depends because people don't separate sexuality and gender. They lump them together. They conflate them together. So sexuality means gender, and the patriarchy tells us
right
that you only got these categories, and you can't fall outside them categories because oh no.
Yeah. Well, and then on top of it, I don't know if you talked last time about like sex versus gender. And that's something that as Yellowbird, I feel like we've done a lot of working with clients this year, not just this year, but like I feel like there's been more and more about, and honestly, if you're not Gen Z, you take some notes because I feel like Gen Z is open. They're just going to blow these doors open and they're just going to start to like, and it's just great. They're going to be able to tell who they really are. But sex is what we were born as at birth, right? So
assigned sex at birth. We did talk about that, but you're breaking it down even further.
Yeah, sex is what we were assigned at birth. So I'm a woman, Dom's a woman, but like then gender is what your identity as you continue, as you continue through your life. And some people are very young when they realize, well, maybe I'm not my assigned sex at birth. Maybe I'm actually, trans or non-binary. But so I think that's another big term that I don't think gets enough talking point about like sex versus gender, and then both of those versus sexuality, and realizing like there's not like even in the definitions there's not two. Like we're not straight and gay. Like there's a lot of different things, and
that's what I told them last week. I was like, there's two. There are completely straight people, and there are completely gay people, but there is a lot
in between. Yeah.
So it's not like 1962 where it's just like no, it's not a box like that anymore. We have much more understanding about our human existence, sexuality, gender, and all of that. So now we can account for the people that were not recognized prior to us having on it. So go on ahead and break it down for us. And while you breaking it down, y'all share this live so people can get this education, because it's super free. And just because you have more knowledge about something does not make you that thing. And so, and even if you are or you aren't, you don't want to be a person that's hateful to other human beings. Okay? Because those are the types of folks that go to prison. All right, go ahead.
Go to prison or anyways.
They definitely probably go to prison a lot of the time.
Should go to prison. Unfortunately, doesn't necessarily happen. But anyway.
Right. There is that.
So as we are talking about being an ally, we talk about it being an umbrella, but I'm going to stay in the lane right here for my folks who are here. And I just wanted to acknowledge real quick, hey, if you're not in this lane, I see you and I realize you're not in this lane. You can be an ally, be a trans ally, but be gay. But I'm going to talk mostly tonight, if it's okay with Dominique, about my basic people, my friends. So I want to help like understand that, because I don't think it's easy. I think there are resources out there. and this will just be another one. So we've talked about sex and gender identity. And
do it again though, because I might have talked in it. So do it again separate so that people can take their notes and have a cool, good understanding. And y'all ask questions in the comments. This is a safe space for questions. As long as your questions are from true wonder and true wanting to seek knowledge, and you're not trying to be a jerk. If you're trying to be a jerk, then don't ask questions. But if you aren't trying to be a jerk and you're truly trying to learn, go ahead and ask your questions.
But also, this is a safe space as long as you know you're asking questions in the comment. It's a public space. It's a safe space that I will honestly answer your question. So if you have a question that you want answered, I'm so cool with that. But just be a FYI.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, so this sex is what you're born as. Your gender is what you identify as. Sometimes it's the same. Those of us in my mind are very lucky. Was born as a woman, I identify as a woman. Not necessarily the same for everybody. And but if you're going to be an ally to those who are trans and to those who are the rest of the LGBTQ plus, you want to, the way you call yourself as a basic white person or just a basic person is cisgender. So that's the
tell them cis as opposed to trans.
Do what?
Tell them cisgender as opposed to transgender.
So cisgender means I was born as a baby, as a female, and I am still a female.
They want, because Star gonna flip her shit if she let you say female.
What is it? What is
it? Woman.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I actually had a client tell me that, and I knew that, but see, I'm so basic.
That's okay. That's one of those. See, that's why I'm like, take it slow, because we have so much stuff indoctrinated in us, and we have so much belief system that was made up for us without our choice when we got here. So you gotta break things really down. And so some stuff, even I've had people within the community misgender, or within that same gender group, misgender someone else in the same, because the indoctrination. So it happens. It happens. We just have to do our part to make the corrections.
Yes. Okay. So cisgender, I'm a cisgender woman. I was born as a woman. I'm still a woman. As far as I know, I will continue to be a woman until I die. That is my understanding of it. So you put cis in front of to kind of say, yo, I'm a woman and I've always been that way. And, I'm not better, but it is what it is. And I'm letting people know when you say cis, that's what that means.
Yep. Cis means same. So that, like, those are my science people. Those are my ergo. Or chemistry. Oh, Kim, what up in the building? Oh, Kim, cis and trans as the way that molecules rotate. So cis means same.
I didn't know that, actually. And when you started talking about Kim, I was like, who's Kim? I was really, and then I was like, no, wait, she's talking about organic chemistry. I'm like, that's not me, but I'm so happy for you. Which is, and then if you have this person who's cisgender, then a trans person is a person who was born outside of their sex, that they were, or who identifies outside of their sex. And that's important to say, because we do have people who are non-binary, which means you do not identify as one or the other, but just as gender neutral. You have people who are fluid, who, depending on their, I can't give a number to the amount of days or minutes or years or whatever that they're going to decide that they're fluid. Do you know, is it fluid? Is there like a specific, if you're fluid, it's for this amount of time, or it's just like however you?
No, it's just oscillating between.
Yeah, you have both.
Whatever you are, whatever you're, but to break it down, so like, again, I know, like, I've had to, explained things for a long time. So, so yes, with the cisgender, that means your assigned sex at birth is one thing, and you identify as that same thing. Mm-hmm. Trans, though, is if you have an assigned sex at birth, what you came out of the womb as, but you do not identify with that. You identify with another gender. So that, for those of you that don't get it, and then those of you that can understand, assigned sex at birth, like Bridget was saying, versus gender, and they're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just to bring it back to those elder millennials like myself,
elder
millennials, myself, or even elder, sometimes it's almost, I think it's hard for us to understand, because like you could be like, oh, well, I was a tomboy, and so but I was still a girl or whatever. Like this is an argument I've heard in my life. So
yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean like that's not what we're talking about. We are talking about
tomboys, that what we used to call tomboys in the past.
Yes.
You know what? They could be probably non-binary. Yes. We have a more appropriate term.
Or, I mean, yes, they definitely can now fall into any of these categories, but I just want to make sure people understand the difference between it.
Because you got to understand, because again, our indoctrination is so tightly woven. You got to like tear through it.
Yes.
Not
and
easy.
It's exciting, because I feel like we're in an exciting time in history that we are learning and understanding a lot more about this, and we're more open about these conversations, and we're able to like get a better grasp of this and put labels to things that we didn't have before, and normalize it, that you're not the only person that goes through this. So
Yep. So yes, and with the non-binary, like Bridget said, you may not identify as strictly man or strictly woman. You may not identify as strictly one of those, whether you are cis or trans. You may not strictly say, my assigned sex at birth, I don't really identify with, but I also don't completely identify with being the opposite sex either. So, and there are different reasons for that. A lot of it is not subscribing to those gender norms, because those are just made up concepts.
Well, and I think like I've had, and I'm not saying this is every person who is non-binary, but I've had people who begin their process of trans in the non-binary space, where like, they're not sure, like they know, hey, maybe I was born as a woman, but I'm not sure that I'm still a woman. I don't know what I am. And then that's like where it's so nice to not have this like shame and loneliness and confusion, to be like, I have this non-binary label I can declare myself as. Now, that doesn't mean every person who's non-binary will become trans at all, but that is it's common. It's at least that I've seen in my practice. So.
Yeah. Well, and we have some non-binary therapists, but they don't identify as trans. So yeah, but the trans community is very near and dear to them. But their own identity.
Well, they are. I mean, you're still trans, but you're not fully trans. I don't actually, that's where I don't know what I'm talking about. And this is how, when we're talking about allyship, it's okay to say that. Like, that's one of the things that, it's okay to not understand and not be like totally clear on it, but to be really open with with those conversations with the people who are, you know?
Yep.
So,
Yep. Yep. And two, you might want to ask a person, or for their we talked about pronouns last week,
wonderful.
and so that's why people are asking, what are your pronouns? So you don't have to be rude and say, hey, is you a man or a woman? You don't gotta be rude and say that. Or is you a male or a female? Okay, so Amaris asked that because female, that word female is very general. It doesn't necessarily mean a human woman. There's lots of different types of females, so that's why. So it's kind of like erasing a woman for being a woman and just kind of generalizing her as a female, like taking her human component away is why Amaris that is a real sensitive word for people to hear. So that's why. But you know what? I know where it started. Every time I hear somebody say female, I be thinking of Craig off a doggone Friday, the very first Friday. Because he's like, man, that's a female. And that everybody started saying female after that.
Right?
After Debo hit old girl in the face, oh man, is this a female? He had slapped her down. So I was like, Craig, Ice Cube, you started this.
That is an old movie I haven't thought about in a minute.
I literally, every time I hear somebody say female, that's what I think of. I think of that scene in that movie. And he was a female every time. Because I'm a weirdo. All right. So yeah. So no. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to be trans. I mean, yeah, you don't necessarily have to be trans, or you don't necessarily have to be trans if you're non-binary. You can just stay there, because you may be okay with, there may be things about your assigned sex at birth that you're okay with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just more about finding out who you are and expressing who you are. And
I won't say okay with that was even wrong. That was even wrong. And y'all, they're like, oh my God, you gotta be so careful. I mean, it's just really respect. It's more of a respect thing. When you respect a person, you'll, I mean, not saying you won't make mistakes, but just being okay with, I'm gonna make mistakes and I'm gonna correct them. But if I say, what did I just say, Bridget?
being okay with the gender.
Oh, okay with, yeah. Okay with it because it implies when I say that it's
shameful. Yes.
Choice.
Yeah.
And it's not. So it's not necessarily okay with, but maybe they're assigned sex at birth that they I also identify with. So that's a more appropriate word.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Bridget.
Well, I wanted to say, because I know you said you talked about pronouns last week, and I think that's amazing. But I wanted to say that just real quick while we're talking about pronouns, if you really want to be an ally, even if you're cisgendered, put your pronouns in your email signature or identify your pronouns. And, like that is a thing that a person who is looking for an ally, they are looking for an ally. They're going to look at those pronouns. They're going to look.
Oh yeah, I do it every time. Anytime these interns or therapists email me talking about they want a job, I want to see, do y'all say she, her, hers, they, them, theirs, he, him, his, what is it? Yep.
And you can be she, they, or he, they, and there can be a mix of it. But as far as talking about, hey, I would like to be an ally, somebody in my life, we're going to make this Sally Basic Sue about Sally Basic Sue has a person in her life who is trans and gay, where they're both. And she would like to be a better ally. So Sally Basic Sue, one of the best ways you can be a better ally is to start using your pronouns, because it is a sign of respect. It is, just saying, well, and you don't have to say, oh, well, my pronouns are she, her, and they've always been she, her. Don't do that. That's a little problematic. But
yeah, it's weirdo. Literally, that happens to Star on her lives when she'll ask, what's your name, age, race, and pronouns. And folks get so weirded out at pronouns, like they haven't been using pronouns since they started language arts in first grade.
Okay, you want to hear something about this? So my kids are really into Veggie Tales right now.
Oh, really? Veggie Tales has stood the test of time then.
Apparently it has. And I think it's really annoying, but Doyle, for people who don't know, I have a 7-year-old named Doyle and I have a 12-year-old named Gwen. And I think it's so annoying, but Doyle's like really into it. And so I thought Gwen would be with me and be like, Doyle, that's too annoying to listen to. She's into it too. She likes the Veggie Tales. So we're listening to Veggie Tales. And then there's one about, and I listened to it today, Schoolhouse Polka with Larry. And he's talking about, oh man, see, what's the term? Like the term where you're like that, like you're using like where and where, it's the same, sounds the same, but different spelling, different. Anyways, so he sings a whole song about it because they're the silly songs with Larry. And the song is like old school. And then it's like next time on Schoolhouse Polka with Larry, pronouns. And I'm like, Veggie Tales. They didn't do that on purpose, but I was so happy. Like, Veggie Tales.
Right. So and 3-year-olds love it. Like you said, he's 7, 3 and 5-year-olds love Veggie Tales. So they're learning. If they love that, they're learning about pronouns before the first grade.
Right. I just think it's funny because we make such a big deal about pronouns. And then, this is an old school Veggie Tales song thrown about pronouns. And then I did notice, I was like, oh, this isn't one I hear all the time. Like, we try to squash that, but it's still out there. It can't be squashed. So.
But think for those of you that are having a hard time with it, because I know some people are. If you're those of you that are having a hard time with it, talk about yourself in third person and see how you refer to yourself. Mm-hmm. What do you say? That those are your pronouns. However you referred to yourself when you said Dominique is going, like me, Dominique is going to go to the store and she is going to buy X, Y, and Z. So say to yourself, whatever your name is, fill in the blank. Dominique, whatever your name is going to the store and she, he, they are going to buy, then those are your pronouns. Mm-hmm. So somebody asked in the comment, are these terms new that we're using? No, but they're not new. But in the past, again, we didn't have enough knowledge to not make things as general as or as black and white as they were in the past, because there was much more limited understanding of things. And now, as we are a progressive species, we learn more things. So we've learned that adding those adjectives, descriptors, and those things are important because people are so different. We are so complex. And we are so different. And so we don't want to erase a person's existence by not acknowledging it with our speech at the very least. So that's what it is.
Yeah, I will say, like, back in the early 2000s,
like American Pie 2000s.
American. I think it was like 2005, 6, something like that. I used to work at the YWCA, and it was a domestic violence shelter, but they also did a lot of, women's work and outreach. And we had people come in back then and that was the first time I had ever really heard about these terms, about like what is trans and what are pronouns and things like that. And so, I realized that feels not that long ago, but also feels very long ago. And I'm sure that they did not invent it either. But like the idea of like, yes, I think probably for a lot of people, these are newer terms and understandings, but that also doesn't necessarily mean that they're new. I mean, Shakespeare had men dress up as women back in the whatever. So yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
It's not, yeah. New,
But
it's just newly acknowledged. That's what it's newly acknowledged, but it's not new. Like these are all things that have been around, but again, because we weren't using words to identify them, they got erased, overlooked. So now that we
like weird, you know.
Yeah.
So
when you don't give something a name, think of if you didn't have a name and people didn't know how to refer to you, they would just overlook you over time. So you exist much more to someone if you have a name and if you have an identity. And so we want to be respectful of that and recognize people for whatever their name or identity is, because they're human and they deserve that.
Well, and I think, and this is something I actually really plan to talk about, is it's about respect. It's not about understanding. Understanding would be amazing. You can be an ally and not understand. But to be an ally, you need to respect. Like, you know, I actually have, like, because we now have multiple trans clients that we work with, I actually have trans clients and I have totally misgendered them in sessions. And I'm not like, that's not a flex. That's like in a confession almost. And you know, there are ways to be an ally and be like, well, I'm not going to be perfect at this, but I can still be this ally label because I'm going to try. Like I'm actively trying. It's not the same as racism, but it's very similar to anti-racism, right? Like I'm not going to be an unproblematic white woman. I would like to be, but I'm not going to be, but I'm going to try to make steps in it. And the first step you can make is just listen to a person when they tell you, well, this is what this means to me. I have a client who's amazing and I love her. And she and I had a conversation about dead names. And she's like, well, I don't really see my old name as my dead name because it's not really dead to me. It's just that's a person who I used to be, but I'm not that person anymore. And I have other clients who are like, well, if I hear my dead name, it gives me anxiety. I can't handle that. So who's right? Well, they're both right because it's both about their own personal stories. And as an ally, my job is to say, yes, I understand that. I respect that. Even if I don't understand it, like even though I'm hearing something from someone and something from someone else, I'm going to respect what you say is valid for you. What being an ally is.
It's caring enough to pay attention and respect those details about a person. That's with any type of allyship. Like, even though I may not identify as that, and even though I may not understand what it's like to be that, I will try to learn and behave, according to the knowledge that I gain and being respectful. So it doesn't mean you're going to know everything. It doesn't mean that, oh my gosh, you're gay. No more than you being anti-racist makes you black.
But it also doesn't mean that you're an expert. You don't have to be. I think sometimes people out of fear are like, I don't know, so I can't call myself that, or I can't join this movement because I don't know. And I've been through so many of these things personally, but the fact that like if you're willing to learn and try is what's really, really important. So.
Yep. So okay. So you so we did pronouns, we did deeper dive into pronouns because we just did the starter pack last week. We just had the starter pack, so this is like more than the starter pack if they came back.
Can we talk about, because so we've talked about people who are transgendered, we've talked about people who are non-binary, we've talked about people who are I want to talk a little bit about queer, and then I also want to talk about ACE, if that's okay.
Definitely. Yep.
Okay. So just to make sure we're really clear, because when you hear LGBTQ, I don't know. I mean, let's just be honest. If you're like myself, 15 years ago, Bridget wouldn't have even gotten the letters right. Like, and she would have cared, but she wouldn't have gotten the letters right. And so I just want to like clear it up for anyone who hasn't like devoted their life to this. So when we're talking about terms, we're talking about also people who are queer can be and this is like, hey, I got to listen to what your definition is of it, because sometimes queer is an umbrella for anybody who is homosexual, and then sometimes it's for gay men. Like, sometimes it's fluid. Dominique, is that right, do you think?
So for queer, because there's so much, okay. I hate to give them so many terms, but as an ally for the entire community, I have to. But I understand that people get lost in, there's like, no, assigned sex at birth is what you are. And because of that, it's just like, it makes it hard. It makes it, so this is for the people that you understand. If you understand that just because you're assigned a sex at birth does not mean you identify as that. If you're cool with that, then this is for you. For the others, this is probably going to go over your head. Just a disclaimer.
You can just enjoy the vibes.
Yeah. Just enjoy the vibes and just tell somebody you heard about it.
Yes.
But like, so for people that are pansexual, so they can develop romantic involvement or romantic feelings for someone who just another person. Doesn't matter if they're cis, doesn't matter if they're trans, doesn't matter if they're non-binary, just a person. Just they fall in love with the person. The gender part is not the contributing factor to their romantic choice. So they could be queer or trying to think of some other examples.
Well, I have it pulled up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Human Resource Campaign says queer has many meanings. And so for some people, queer is general as a catch-all umbrella for anybody that's not cisgendered heterosexuals. Like some people, that's what that means. Sometimes queer is for people who are leaning towards lesbian, bisexual, something else, non-binary, gender expansive, whatever. So I just wanted to put that out there because I think like you hear L, you're like, okay, L is a lesbian. I can understand that. G is gay. I understand that. B is bisexual. Okay, I can understand that. And then T is trans and Q is what is a Q. And so that I just wanted to put that out there. Like what that
is.
And plus is that I feel like the most important, and this is where it goes back again to like, you want to ask your person or the people. I don't think everybody who is LGBTQ wants to like learn you in LGBTQ, but I think a lot of people are happy to have you ask helpful questions. Like to understand that I am seeking to understand and accept you further. Most of the clients that I've worked with, I'm not going to say everyone, have been very, very happy to explain that to me. Because their definitions aren't going to necessarily look like other people's definitions. And it's okay to ask. And it's okay for them to say, no, thank you. I don't want to do that. And it's okay for them to say yes. But most people, in my experience, not everybody is happy to like, hey, let's have a conversation about what that means. And they actually enjoy having their thoughts heard. But I just wanted to kind of put that out there, but also think the plus is what's most important, because realizing even in these letters, we're not going to get all of everybody's beliefs of that, like not beliefs, but everybody's, identifications. You're not going to get them in a couple of letters. You're going to get, it's just, these are the broadest ones, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. These are the largest communities, but that doesn't mean there aren't smaller communities within that.
Yeah. So. And then A means asexual. You'll also hear it called ace. And it basically means that they don't necessarily feel attraction to anybody. Now, there are people who are ace that say, hey, maybe I'm attracted to this one specific person, or I can grow an attraction. But in general, they just don't have the attractions that people who are, in a different category. And that's, I think that's a really important thing. I actually think, my personal opinion, there are probably a lot more people out there who are ace than they're actually talking about. I could be wrong about that, but
well, this gonna really blow y'all mind. I heard this guy I like, I know him, this guy I know, he loves to do religious conversations sometimes. Well, he hadn't done it in a while. That's not what he's most widely known for, but when he was doing them, he was rocking folks' world with what they thought they believed about Christianity. And he was like, technically, wasn't Jesus asexual?
Yeah, I've heard it before as well.
Because he didn't have an attraction to anybody sexually. So wouldn't that make Jesus a part of the community?
I mean,
that's going to mess folks up. Oh my gosh. No, he's not. Why? Why he's not? That's disrespectful to Jesus. How is it? Why is it disrespectful? Let's talk about that.
It's disrespectful to white Jesus. White Jesus doesn't follow that way, but white Jesus. Oh man, I'm not going to do this. White Jesus is somewhat of a figment of our imagination. If you've ever,
you're gonna have to say it, Bridget. White Jesus isn't real.
He's not real. He's really Santa Claus.
That's gonna mess everything. I'm so sorry, but we would be remiss because white Jesus. You can speak on it. Go ahead, because you identify as Christian.
I do identify as Christian, but he just wasn't white. Those people were not white in the Bible. Nobody was white in the Bible, so that's just not the way they're looking. So anyways, and a lot of that is about colonialism, and I do identify as Christian in that I probably was pretty progressive Christian. I would consider myself a deconstructed Christian. But yeah. So
Yep. Oh, and for those of you that don't know what dead names are, it's like, okay, so with your assigned sex at birth, your parentals assigned you also a name. Well, maybe that name sounds more like your assigned sex at birth. Possibly this is one reason. And so you change your name and you no longer want to be recognized by that name, but you have another name. And so that name is now your dead name.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sorry, I did not clarify that. But yes, that's exactly.
No, it's okay.
And some people, like, names are very, very, very important. And I think, like, maybe that's the first thing I ever learned in therapy school is, like, names are important. You need to know the names of the people. And it is still true to this day. Mm-hmm. Like, how are you going to tell somebody you're their ally if you don't know their name? If you don't know their name.
That don't even go.
Yeah. And it's okay if you knew, if Susie Q knew Johnny J for 35 years and suddenly, he is now a she and now she's, what's a girl J name? Jennifer. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to mess up, but you need to be trying and you need to realize how important it is because you are affirming or denying a person when you are affirming or denying their pronouns and their names. That's like basic allyship 101. So
y'all that's the most basic thing. And for you to say, I'm going to just speak to the black people. So for you to say, oh, I don't want to use all them pronouns and I can't remember all that. If that's what you're saying to yourself, imagine how you would feel if a white person was like, oh, slavery doesn't exist anymore and racism isn't real anymore. And y'all just need to forget about that. Boils your blood, don't it? boils your blood. Same way when you minimize somebody and say, oh, I'm not gonna. So that kind of attitude. So if you're not okay with racist behavior, then you can't be okay with erasing people and other identities either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you're unsure, just use their name. Like,
just use their name.
If you're in baby step 1 of being an ally and you're like, I'm gonna mess these pronouns up, and you are, just use their name.
Just the name.
Just use the name.
Yep.
And I mean, even cisgender people use traditional girl names or boy names. Most, cisgender people use boy names for girls all the time. So like, it's okay. So
yep.
So yes, that's a thing.
Yep. So, I can, and for those of y'all that may still be having trouble with non-binary, think of like unisex, like it's for, like a unisex shirt or something. Not that a person is a shirt, but think of the term unisex. Mm-hmm. That
gender neutral, like they're neutral. They're a little bit of both. They're a little bit of neither. And you can just use their name. Just use their name. Like, and honestly, I do this because it's very important for me to keep a name right, to respect it. And I have people who have nicknames all the time that have nothing to do with their gender. So I do this where I'll like, in my brain, y'all, if my brain can do it, your brain can do it, because my brain is the most scattered place I've ever been in my life.
A lot of people can relate, myself included.
So I, like, in my phone will put blah, 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 parentheses, blah, blah, blah. Like, and you can do that for names as well. Like, you can do that for nicknames. You can do that for pronouns. You can do that. You think, I can't trust myself it's important for me to validate them, but I don't know that I can trust myself, and I just can't mess with it. Put it in your phone, put it in your, wherever you're talking to them, make yourself a note. And that way you're going to commit yourself to it and do your best. So,
Yep. Okay. Well, shoot. I was looking to make sure we got all the comments. If y'all have any other questions for us while we're wrapping up, throw them in the comments. Ask us any questions, either on what we've addressed, or if there's something we hadn't addressed that you have a question on, you can definitely ask and we'll do our best. But Bridget, what else did you have for the people?
Well, we talked about what to be an ally. The other thing about it is, this is very similar to anti-racism. If somebody is going to be brave enough to call you out and say, bestie, like, you've try as best as you can to receive that call out with love, because that was very, very brave. That was very hard for them to do. That was like very vulnerable for them to do. And even if you don't agree, try to go, okay. I feel like I've known Dominique well enough to know before where if she doesn't, I don't know if she doesn't agree or she doesn't understand, she'll go, okay. Like she's validating you, but I'm gonna call you out. but she's not sure yet. But so try
I'm open to listen. That means I'm open to listen further, gather more understanding and knowledge.
And if you really don't understand or you really need more information, ask for do you know any resources? Do you know a good TikToker? Do you know a good blah, blah, blah? Because it's okay to learn. It's okay to take your time to learn and to understand and to question yourself and to realize, like, just like we need to, like, it's a choice to decide not to be gay, but it is a choice to decide to be an ally. That is an actual choice that we make, and to be the best ally we can be. Read up on it. Watch some thank God for TikTok. Watch some TikToks or some Instagram reels, learn. It's okay to say, I don't understand, but I'm willing to learn. So,
and Google is very free, super duper free. It's so free. that they should charge me, and actually they do charge me at this point. Now I am paying to use Google a lot of the time now. But for
What?
those, well, because I'm a business owner, I'm paying
Oh,
from that. I'm
looks like
paying for Google. I'm now paying for Google, but I'm not paying to search. I'm not paying to search.
I
I
was
can still
like,
search for Google.
I don't know about that.
I'm still, but you can Google, and then there's even a better web browser with more accurate information. I can't remember what it's called though, so I have to get that and give it to y'all. But definitely, you can Google it. If you hear it, you can Google it and get resources that way. But or if you notice yourself, like we talked about last week, if you notice having homophobia or transphobia that stands in the way of you wanting to be an ally, or thinking that you can be an ally, then definitely we do want to get you set up, because there's a reason that you feel that way. We don't want you to be operating from a place of ignorance that could affect
fear. Yeah.
It could affect people's safety,
Mm-hmm.
Or your own safety, in that if some people are just not very tolerant, whether they're straight or gay or in the community or not. Humans do some weird stuff. But if you are, I had a lot of white clients come to me to do more anti-racist work and start combating some of those core beliefs that they had, or implicit biases that they had about Black and brown people. So you can do the same. The implicit biases that you have about LGBTQIA plus community, or the fear or the dislike for them that you have, you may need to talk to someone about that. And so we can definitely help you get to the bottom of that, so you're not harming yourself or anyone else by not acknowledging people.
Because if that person is in therapy, they probably already done therapy on how to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
People go to therapy to talk about other people who won't go to therapy, which is a joke. Is also kind of true. And it's okay to. It's actually very, very, very healthy to be like, "Ooh, I got some feelings, or some, I got the ick here. Why do I have the ick here?" And if you can do that on your own, wonderful. If you could do that with a support system, wonderful. And if you want a therapist, even more wonderful. It's okay to do that. It is healthy to do that,
Yep.
Won't be the first.
So. Yep. Absolutely. Freaking-lutely. So, Christy asked, could we repeat about dead names again? So, Bridget, you want to do it?
So when we talk about people who are transitioning or who have transitioned, they have a dead name. The dead name is the name that is assigned at birth. If sex is assigned at birth, then their name is assigned at birth. I mean, everybody's got a name at birth. And a person who frequently, I don't love the comment or the term dead, but that's the term it is. And if you hear that, that's what that means, is they're like, that doesn't really fit me. Like, I'm not really, I'm not really a Bridget. I'm a Bailey. That's my maiden name. And it's a very gender neutral name. I am a Bridget, by the way, but I could say that if I was going to be trans or non-binary. And so, well, I'm not going to be a Bridget anymore. I'm going to be a Bailey now. And by doing that, this is my new name. This is who I am. It fits me much more closer to the gender I would like to present to others. And so Bridget would be my dead name. It's the name that I was born with, but I don't prescribe to anymore. And so it's very hard when you love somebody who has gone through, especially from a parental role. Maybe your child has gone through it and you picked that name out for them, but you also love them and you want to respect that. So then that's the dead name and that's the new name. And so if you get confused, try to use reminders. We're do your best. So
Right.
that's what that name is. Was that explained or not?
Yeah, Christy, let us know if that helped. Let us know. Nothing looking like we have any other questions. Well, what kind of closing remarks you got for the people?
For the people. For the people, go to therapy.
Go to therapy.
Go to therapy. No,
you can just take a screenshot of the screen right now, and that's the number. You can text the word new, and we can help you with that.
For the people, I think ally is a heart word. Ally means I'm trying. It doesn't mean you're at a certain level. It doesn't mean you're this or you're that, but it needs to be a real I'm trying. Mm-hmm. And you can be an ally if you have never believed in pronouns until today, but somehow Dominique and I have convinced you. I'm so happy. I don't think it's going to happen, but we're going to pretend like it is. You can be an ally tomorrow. You can learn, but it isn't a word you pick up and you carry around and you put in your little purse and then you put down at the end of June. It's a word that you're going to live, and to live that, you should probably do some education or go to therapy, but like make sure that you are, you're really walking in that allyship of being, just being there for something. It's almost just the name of a friend. So.
Yep. Just, do your part. And two, I have cis hetero clients that are going to the Pride Parade just as allies, not because they identify with the community, but they're like, hey, we're standing in solidarity, so we're going to come. So that may be more advanced allyship.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, I was going to talk about this. I don't know if we have time to talk about this.
Go ahead, Bridget.
Real quick, as a cis hetero person that has children, one of the best ways you can be an ally is have open conversations with your children. You like a she, a he, a they, a them, whoever you like. Be open to their preferences in gender and clothing and expression, and be preferences in who they date. Don't try to, Gwen and I joke that I have fan fiction for her about these little boys that like her, and so it's like she calls it my Delulu fan fiction. And so like we talk about like, oh, you and blah 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 are gonna get married because their parent is my best friend. It's called my Delulu fan fiction, and it's a real joke, but like also as a cisgendered hetero parent, the best way is you can raise your child to be an ally and just to have open conversations. And even if you're not ready to like put it on the internet, have it in your house. That was my last thing I meant to say. So
I'm glad you said that because me, if I would have said the girls would have attacked me. But since you're a white woman, you could say that. They just in silence are like, whew. Tell my children.
Yes, encourage, because you deciding as Taylor Swift said it, because I'm a big Swiftie, Shay never made anyone less gay. So you can decide if you're going to get on the bus or you can decide that you're not, but they're still going to be gay. So.
Exactly. Thank you, Tay Tay. We appreciate you, girl. I like Taylor Swift too. I do. All stages of Taylor Swift.
I don't know. This last one's messy, but that's a different hour. But yes, I do too. And I like that line a lot of the reminding you can decide whatever you say or hate spews or you hear. That's not making that person less gay. It may make them more, when we talk about mental health, it may make their mental health worse. Yeah. But it's not making them less gay. So.
At all. Ooh, yeah, that is a different live about trying to, and I think I may have even done that for a June before, of just like how much of a choice it's not to be gay,
The only choice that a person gets is whether or not to tell you.
Yes, to tell you or be
away from them. Don't take that away from them, and do not suppress it. That's their only choice.
Right. Yeah. About hiding it or not. But anyway, that's a different story. We will do that at a different time. Well, thank you so much, Bridget, for coming on.
Thank you.
I kept you a little longer, so I'm going to let you go. But Well, I'm sure we'll see you again soon. But if y'all even want to see Bridget, you can. You can text the word new. And when you get the auto response, you can just say you want to see Bridget if you want to. Yay! Cool. All right, Bridget. Well, you have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. So cool. You heard it. And I'm glad I had a white woman tell y'all, because a lot of people don't listen to Black and brown people. So I need to have my white presenting therapists do a lot of heavy lifting as far as that's concerned, with their allyships of not only Black and brown people, but also the LGBTQ community, because they are higher up on the patriarchal hierarchy, and the way that the United States and the systems of the United States are made. So chances are some people will probably listen to them a lot better than they'll listen to me. And that's just what it is. So happy to have them. Happy to have them. All right. But I didn't forget y'all. If you know, you know. And if you don't, you're going to want to text the word live to this number, because you're about to miss out. But if you know, you know that tonight is the $100 Cash App giveaway. So let's see where we're stopping at. Okay. We're stopping at no, we're not. We're stopping at Rena Green. That's where we're stopping at. So let me get y'all know I always forget my writing utensils. Hey, Bertie. Hey, Bertie. All right. Let me get a writing set. Set a utensil. Sheba. I love these doggies. These doggies just being here, just being weird. All right. So the way this goes, I'm going to say your name and your number twice. So you're going to want to get your ears ready. If somebody's talking around you, tell them shh, so you can hear your name and your number. Okay? Because I'm going to say it twice. So let's see. Sorry, Instagram. Ew, it's crooked. Sorry, guys. All right, so Rena Green is number 1. Rena Green is number 1. Ava Green is number 2. Ava Green is number 2. Tanea Keller is number 3. Tanea Keller is number 3. Alexis Carl is number 4. Alexis Carl is number 4. Saniqua Burton is number 5. Saniqua Burton is number 5. Every day. Oh, hey, every day. Every day is 6. Every day is 6. Tequila Turner is number 7. Tequila Turner is number 7. Sharmika Burrell is number 8. Sharmika Burrell is number 8. Stephanie Ship is number 9. Stephanie Ship is number 9. Tanya Betts is number 10. Tanya Betts is number 10. Candace Keller is number 11. Keller is number 11. Amanda Witherspoon is number 12. Amanda Witherspoon is number 12. Antoinette Danielle is number 13. Antoinette Danielle is number 13. Magnolia Sunshine Marchant is number 14. Magnolia Sunshine Marchant is number 14. Christy Davis is number 15. Christy Davis is number 15. Malika Cole is number 16. Malika Cole is number 16. L Love is number 17. L Love is number 17. Amaris Samuel is number 18. Amaris Samuel is number 18. So I think I got everybody. If you ain't get a number that was the you know. Okay, nope. I think everybody got their number that was before Rena Green. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's see here what we got. All right, we're going to open a new tab first, and then I'm going to share my screen because y'all know how I do. I'm going to show y'all from start to finish me doing it so you don't think I'm playing favorites. So let's see. Let us see who got it. Rena, you were number 1. You were number 1. Okay. So let's see, full screen. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go, my new tab. So let's do the random number wheel generator. Let's see. All right, y'all. We got 5, 10, 15. We got 18. You see how free Google is? Google gives you anything you're looking for. All right. So 1 and the maximum is 18. All right. Y'all ready? Drum roll. It's time for the drum roll. Let's see. Woo! Number 17. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Who is number 17? Who is it? Let me go back over here. Who is that? Oh gosh. Y'all didn't see it. Oh. Golly. I was on the wrong thing. Hold on, y'all. I'm not going to respin it because it's not y'all fault. But that's what it came up as. See? I didn't click off nothing. So it's number 17. Who is number 17? Let me go back. Where is it? Who is it? Oh, wow! Wow! Yay! You got it! Oh my gosh, you got it! You got it! You got it! You got it! Wow, see? See, with consistency comes rewards. You had got it. Hold on. This is a monumental moment for us. So I need to, I gotta send it and share it, show everybody. Yes, it's her first time to win. And she thought she would never win. See, never say never. She thought she would never win. Oh, yay. I love when that happens. See, this is why I love doing this and helping people, like giving people stuff, because it makes you feel good. And y'all can't never say Yellowbird ain't a giving practice, because I'm the only person I know that giving out money, just for you to be an ally or just for you to help break the stigma by simply sharing. That's it. That's all I ask you for, just to share what I'm talking about. I don't ask for nothing else. I don't even ask you for money. Yay! Yay! Oh my goodness. All right. Congratulations from Yellowbird Counseling. Woo! Oh my gosh. Yay! Tell us when you got it. Tell us when you got it. Yes. So that we can all know and we can celebrate with you. I just sent it. Oh, dang, I didn't show. Look, I was doing all that talking and I didn't even show y'all that here. I'll do it. I did it so quick. Okay. Yay! Okay, she said she got it. Yay! Perf. We're so excited. See there? Yes. Now have yourself a great weekend with that. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, with consistency comes rewards. Always remember that. Back, because next Thursday, the next Thursday that we're live may be your Thursday. So definitely text the word live to this number if you haven't already, so you know when we do our Cash App giveaways. And also join our newsletter. If you go to yellowbirdcounseling.com, you can join our newsletter, and you'll have it in the newsletter when we do our giveaways and what to do. All right. Well, thank y'all. Thank you again for sharing. If you haven't already shared this, even share it, like you click the more options, share it with somebody in your DM or in your text messages. You can share the live link so they can watch it later. Or if you're in our text community, all of our lives are in that stream. So if you ever want to share a live, even a past live that we've done, you can scroll up in that text community and just copy and paste that link, and you can share the live to people. All right. At any point. Well, I'll see y'all soon. But until then, be respectful. Be respectful. All right. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.